So the question came in on how to do a farfalle modeling, the butterfly pasta. And, even though you could probably acquire this kind of object because it exists in real life, so that means that 3D model of it probably exists, but you might not like the quality or it's not affordable or, you just want to learn how to do it, which is actually great for learning purposes. And it's a beautiful form, so I think it's worth learning. So I thought I'd just make a tutorial about this. So the first thing that you need to do, anytime when you approach a new shape that you've never built before, is to analyze it. Okay, and then you need to go and say, all right, how many vertices would I need? And which directions the edges go. So the direction of the flow of the surface here, in this case mesh, but it's something like this, right? So, okay, that's easy. And then crossing direction. So topology direction is not that complicated. It's very intuitive almost, but it's worth mentioning. The sawtooth shape cutout here is, I don't really see it as a projected curve cut because it's all you need to do is just make a straight edge like this and then have a vertex available in this area and then select every other vertex here and just move them inwards like this, okay? And then that should take care of it. I wouldn't make it more complicated than that. I don't think that's necessary. And that's more possible because this area is kind of like flat. It doesn't have these contour. Contour increases more prominently as you approach the middle area. Okay, so let's see. So how many vertices do you need like for the contour? So make the contour first. So the steps should be like make the middle area, contour it, scale it inwards to get the waist, the narrow waist shape, and then just move the vertices in the edges to get the sawtooth detail, and then give thickness to this. So if you look at this, we have a W shape, something like that. And you just need to count the vertex, how many you need. One, two, three, four, five. And that's the minimum because you need at least one vertex every time it changes direction. So five is minimum, and depending on what you need, let me just do undo here. Uh, yeah, it looks like this is a quite round here. So it might be that the profile is more round in the middle. Um, it's not just this kind of W shape. But when you take into account the thickness, if whether you create thickness in this direction or this direction, it depends. So you have to experiment a little bit. A lot of times you have to build the whole thing like from scratch again with a different number of vertex count. That's not unusual. A lot of times I have to do it like two, three, four, sometimes five times in order to get the right number. That's usual. That's not unreasonable. And I've been doing this for like nearly 30 years. So but yeah, I'm guessing that that's about five vertices in the middle. Okay. And then for the sawtooth, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 vertices, right? It has a little. So we're talking about 15 vertices. This is higher than that, so you want to start with a lower number. Okay, so 5 vertices. And then for going across, we need, let's see, across, what I mean by that is here, right? We have a change of direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that looks like a 5 here, okay? So, okay, so we have a 5 by 5 by 5. Um, all right, so that's the number of sections, number of vertices in this direction here is 5. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so keeping that in mind, it looks like we need a 5 by 5 plane. So let's get started. Let's make a plane. And let's see, 5 by 5. this is X direction. So be mindful of the horizontal direction. The red arrow is the X. I'm going to use that as the horizontal sideways direction for the butterfly wings. So I'm going to actually make this a little bit, okay, that's wrong direction too. So I don't want to deal with any more details and number of vertices than necessary. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay, so yeah, so I have vertex here, vertex here, vertex here. So that's fine for horizontal direction, but for vertical direction, vertical in this view actually, it's front to back. I have 5 vertices here, and this I'll use for the contour, which will define the W contour shape. The shape. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, let's select these guys and move it up. Let's select these guys and move them down. Okay, so I have a W shape. Hit number 3 to get a sense of the contour. Okay, so in general, that's not bad. And then select all of the middle vertices here and scale them in to get the contour, right? So always press number 3 to get an idea. You don't want these vertices to run into each other, and once they touch each other, you can't scale them back out. So that's important that you keep that in mind. Once they approach a zero size, scaling back doesn't, put them back outwards. So that's important in this particular case and other cases. So 3, okay. So now leave it here. You can always scale this and massage it later. And what I need is I need this to, do this shape here. So this shape, if you look at this here, it's, it needs to go like this, right? So you need a vertex here, vertex here, vertex here. So that means that I need an extra loop in this area here, right? So here, let me just insert this. Okay, so right now, as you can see, I don't have any vertices here, so I can't get that like going back outward shape unless I have an extra loop. So the way that you insert that is put it on edge selection mode, shift right mouse click, insert edge loop tool. Oh, before I do that, I should do W, symmetry, symmetry turned on the x-axis here. X-axis, symmetry turned on. So that means that if I insert an extra loop on one side, I will get the other one on the other side. Okay, so insert edge loop, go to the options, reset it, and default setting is fine for our purposes. All you have to do is click on any of these lines, and you'll see this. And you see the preview of it appearing on the other side. Okay, so there you go. The shape, I need to massage it. If I do vertex selection, let's see, let me select these guys here. Oop, don't want to select the wrong thing. I think, yeah, the symmetry for some reason, it kind of, oh, you know what? The tool, the edge selection tool, it stays on. Okay, so don't you have to kind of like, oops, oh sorry, I produced a thing by accident. So the edge loop tool kind of like stays around, so like it keeps on wanting to insert more loops. So you have to press a Q to get out of it. Okay, so that's now I should be able to select these guys. Okay, good, because uh, okay, so let's press number 3, press R. Okay, so yeah, let's see what I mean about the shape here. Okay, so and then you can select these guys and then get them in. And I'm accounting for the fact that when I give thickness later, this will become more rounder here. I'm anticipating like how it will look with the thickness. I'm approaching like very tight size here. So I think I'll stop here, right? Okay, and yeah, and then from here you just want to massage these guys here. Just move them outwards to get the arc shape. Oops, let me select this guy also. So I think was it almost like a circular arc shape? Let's see, let's examine. Yeah, I should have probably found like an orthographic flat view as a reference. It almost looks like it's like a part of a circle, not quite, but something like that. So I just do as much as possible. It's pasta, organic, something that you eat. It's supposed to be a little bit irregular, but it doesn't hurt to um, do it so that it looks precise. Okay, so if you want, you can scale it out. All these kind of form massaging. Okay, and it's probably a little bit like that here too. So this is where like a lot of aesthetics and these essence is defined. So it's worth spending some time with it. Depending on how important it is. You can never like be so like you can't be a master at this. Like global sense. There's no such thing. Because I'm talking about Michelangelo level. I mean, like, where does that where does that like lead to, right? But here, do as much as whatever you have time for, and that's good. And at this point, it makes a lot of sense for me to put this into a layer and then do Control D and then save this because I don't want to mess that up because that's like the essence of this. If this looks wrong here, and then no matter how much detail I put on it later, it doesn't really matter because it's fundamentally wrong, right? But let's say that's good enough for now, and I have a copy that I can play with. If you want to get a sense of this, what it looks like with the thickness, you can go ahead and try an extrude. Okay, shift right mouse click extrude, and give thickness, and that's kind of like what it will be. And I think the center area is too high compared to the edges, so that's good to know, right? Because center area uh, it thickens inwards, but that's center area actually raises up because it has to be like perpendicular direction, but the sides don't get raised as much. So that's good to know. So let me just do undo Z a little bit, and then that way, I'm glad I tried that because that way I know I can select these guys and then put them downwards because I don't want the middle to be raised up too much, you know. And compared to the sides, I think that's how it is, right? Let's see. Yeah, they're about the same height. They're not center area is not that much necessarily higher. Okay, so it's not like yeah. So it is yeah. So it's a W shape with the W center like this. Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess yeah, yeah. But that result has to be there. Yeah. So it's not the center. Yeah, I was thinking like sine wave. The center is higher, but it's not. Okay. So that's what I should have done in the first place. Okay. So once again, be a good sport. Save the duplicate because that one that I just made modification to, it's a little bit different than this one, right? So that's an important snapshot, even though just one surface. So okay, now let's work on the sawtooth shape. So and that one is probably best worked on by the top. And then if you look at the vertices, I don't have that many. I have only 6 vertices here, right? So I need to increase the number. Even though you can use the edge loop tool to increase the count, you don't, let's see, maybe that's what I should do. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I think I should make a conversion. Don't forget, the geometry is still this. It's not this. You can't 3D print it. When you're first of all, you don't have thickness, but even with thickness, you won't not get this. In order to actually get the geometry that you can play with further, you have to make a conversion. Control A, turn on, hit number 3, turn on the subdivision level, okay? And I think, let's see, yeah, let's do this. How many vertices would I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can get one sawtooth, 1, 2, 3, okay. Um, okay, how about level 2? So I'm looking at the dotted lines. You can get real edges for dotted lines when you make a conversion. That's why I'm looking at this. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's about what I want, right? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So let's say that's good enough, and then let's do Control D. And here, what I want to do is I want to make a conversion so that I get the real geometry that I can actually use. Okay, convert, modify, convert, smooth mesh preview to polygons. And now I have real edges that I can move around. Okay, so yeah, that's yeah, look at that. I can make the shape. So all I have to do now is select every other vertex here and then just move them around. So I will see. Do I have odd number or even number? Let's see. Two. Okay, so I'm gonna move these probably outwards. You know what? I'm gonna select these guys because moving them inwards, there's a trick that I want to show you that is very useful. Okay, something like that, right? So, and I got them influencing on the other side too because I got symmetry turned on. So now you can move this like this, but you'll notice that this is not moving like, you know, in the flow. So what you can do is actually keep the control and control shift key down and then um, reference any of these. Let's see, let's go to perspective view. So this is a edge slide tool. Anytime when you move a vertex, if you hold the control shift key down, you can click drag on any other reference edge and then it'll follow that direction for each one of these. So let's do that. You have to be careful not to hit this arrow because that'll constrain the movement. So and then you can always press the minus button to decrease or plus button or minus button to increase or decrease the manipulator size so that you don't accidentally hit it. Okay, so I will do that and I want you to see what happens for all these guys. Control Shift, middle mouse drag, right? You see how like each vertex is moving along the edge that it's sitting on, right? That's really it. So you can make that shape like that. And this, even though the angle was not that extreme, it saves you a lot of trouble from just, trying to massage the shape later. That's all you need for this, right? And I think we're almost done. You just need to give it a thickness, and that should be it. Well, you might find that the surface collides to itself, but let's see, press number 3. Okay, and just examining the contour and the shape before and you can always, for this shape, you can always like scale it up and down. What I'm doing is I'm just scaling the whole thing in just one direction to give it a more pronounced shape. Oh, look at that. This area, the vertices were higher. I see. Okay. And that wasn't as obvious when it was not, like that. Okay. So I guess I can massage that a little bit. And lo and behold, like this shape is really complicated, right? I got a lot of vertices here, and it's like, whoa, I need to deal with all these guys and scale them down evenly, and that's a perfect reason for you to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to deal with so many vertices here because this is like nightmare. Even though there are tools available to do that, it's much worth it for me to go back to the previous version I guess before the making the sawtooth and then make the changes here because look at this, I only got like so little number of vertices, right? So I should probably, yeah, I should have examined this a little bit more before I jumped on it, but I can just do this here, right? So that this contour is less than in the center area. Okay, yeah, well, and this is a perfect example of why it's worth it to keep these snapshots, right? So I'm just going to do Control D on this guy and then continue with this one. So repeating the same step as before, right? I think level 1. So here I just need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So roughly, I'm not really so hung up on the exact number of sawtooth count for this one, as you can tell. But yeah, so I think this is good. Make another snapshot, duplicate copy and make the smooth preview. Okay, let's go to the top view, and it's the same steps as before. Just select every other vertices. I think I selected the first one and then every other one. So I'm just doing shift selecting this every other one, right? Let's see. Sometimes you end up with even number versus odd number kind of thing. So that this, but I think in this case I got lucky. Okay, so W, and then remember, make sure not to hit the manipulator arrows because that's very easy to do. Because if you do, it'll constrain the movement to just straight direction. You'll get this kind of result, as you can see. So what you want to do is make sure that none of the arrows are highlighted. So if you hit it, you'll see that the red becomes yellow. So you don't want to do that. You want to hit this one, and you don't want any of these arrows to be highlighted. So, okay, so I think I'm good. Shift Control, middle mouse button, and then make sure you mouse over the reference edge. And I don't want to hit this vertex here. So, okay, that's it, really. Okay, so all right, and save another snapshot. Control D, and yeah, and like I was saying, if you want to, increase the contour, you just scale the entire object like in one direction. See, because this is a very graceful, curvature. You can just exaggerate the contour by just doing one direction, one direction contour. So I give it about like 50% more, pronounced contour. And sometimes you can do that, and especially because well, it's a very mathematical form that can be scaled. Okay, all right. So yeah, let's last but not least, let's when you do this, if you want to keep that proportion and then have this be the default proportion, just do a freeze transform so that this number becomes a scale of 1. So that becomes the default preferred size. So one more round of duplicate and give thickness. Select the entire thing, shift right mouse, extrude, and thickness. Let's hit the pie chart to have a slow speed. Okay, and you can see that like some of this runs into each other. If that's really a problem, then you can massage the shape of this before you do the thickening. But I'll leave this here for the time being. Let's see. Okay, 0.025 around there. Oops, missed the zero here. Is that thick enough? Press number 3. It's probably too thin, I think the pasta it's slightly thicker, I think. Okay, so let's go into extrude, increase the thickness, 0.0 maybe 3 or 0.05 maybe. Yeah, I think that's better. There's some overlapping here, but if you put it into like Mesh Mixer software, Mesh Mixer has a make solid command that they can get rid of all these overlaps. Okay, so it won't be a problem. It's yeah, that's it. Beyond that, it's really about just working with it and so forth. So I hope this was helpful, and yeah, maybe I'll print this out or something. It's a little bit different than that, but it takes practice to really get it right. I kind of like this pronounced edge shape here. It's a little bit different than stock. I'm trying to console myself and brainwash myself into thinking that mine is better. No, no, actually, scratch that. I'm not like that. But anyway, that's it really. So I hope this was helpful. Okay.